Okay, so last time we had a magical adventure exploring the video as a whole. Today we're going to be paying particular attention to the bit I skipped over because I wanted to spend a whole other video on it, examining it literarily. And obviously there's a lot of plot holes. I mean, I'm assuming the inference here with the video is implying that this is the reality if, for whatever reason, all Christians were just fucking gone, excluding all other races, which the easiest argument to bring to the table when talking about this would be, what about all other religions? Just because the Christians are gone doesn't mean the Jews are gone, or the Muslims. Maybe if the splinter groups that have come from Christians, we're just going to run with the assumptions here because that's what I guess he fucking wants. So let's just say all those splinter groups that either came from Christianity or probably theoretically might not be here without it. So let's just say Islam's out the window. That's probably going to open up a can of worms. But fuck it, we're already digging holes here. Might as well drill it. Drill the holes, I say, you know. So let's just say Islam's not existent, Mormonism is not existent, we still have Judaism and any other religion not connected to Christianity in any way. So removing Christianity, there might be some side effects, but we still have religion. But that's not the purpose that this is setting up. It completely fucking ignores that. I'm just going to assume for the time being, and for I guess an apologist for this video, which I don't think there are any, would say that Christianity, you know, Gman's Christian, so Christianity could be substituted as, well, a substitute word for all religion, so implying that all religion is gone and the world's run by atheists, because if the world's run by atheists in this scenario, then yes, we would have to go with the assumption that Christianity in this case is a substitute for all religion, otherwise atheists obviously wouldn't run the whole show. So in this narrative, for the time being, we're going to say, you know, not Christians, but just assuming it really means all religions are gone, it's all atheists running the show. That's the premise we're going with. Of course, we have other things to pick at, but instead of bringing arguments to the table, as I kind of alluded to a moment ago, we're going to pick this apart I can't English today. We're going to pick it apart literarily, because I can't English good, yes. But yeah, we're gonna poke at it from a storytelling perspective and not necessarily from a religious perspective, because that's been there, done that. We kind of talked about a religious connotation to the whole video, but not really this part, which I don't know. There's not much interest there. It's fucking dumb. That's said and done. It's fucking dumb. There's no reason to pick at it from a religious standpoint. I'm only picking at it from a literary standpoint because that's one of my weird niches. So let's dig into this. So far we've gotten set up, kind of repairing the narrative, or more or less making more sense of the narrative. We have a substitute for all religion, referring to all religion as Christianity, so we have all religion removed from the world. We're setting up with that. That is the premise we have. And with that premise, we are running with the idea that all the atheists are in charge. And with the rest of the video, that kind of, I guess, is the rest of the movie or the rest of the story. We have Gman, who is playing some sort of character. He's playing an atheist who has to teach the children, apparently. Sure. I mean, I guess. I don't know how that... I don't know why the educational structure would change with atheists. I think a lot of atheists do agree with having schools and teachers. I don't think it'd become like this homeschool program, so that's a plot holes in the thing. You just fucking teach her. We gotta teach the kids. You know, it's not like, I mean, yeah, I guess churches and whatever get around and try to teach the children outside of general education, because, you know, there's Sunday school and all that. It's called Sunday school for a reason, because it's a separate thing from regular school. Of course, Christians would consider it regular school, but it's called Sunday school, not school. So yeah, I guess, for whatever reason, Gman thinks if all the religious are gone, atheists are going to take over the responsibility of having this weird either alternative school, or extra school, however you want to spin it, which I didn't think there would be. I mean, the property, I couldn't think of anything like that, like in the religious connotation. I mean, he's so ingrained in a religious mindset that he can't possibly fathom a world without a secondary or also, extra educational time. Because if you're a Christian, unless you go to private school, like a Catholic school, but if you go to general public and Sunday school, that's 2 school times free. If secularists were in charge, or atheists, in this case, I don't think that would be a thing. I think it would just be school. So that's a weird plot, if you can call this a fucking plot. That's a weird thing to infer, that atheists would just replace that time with something their own, which is the rest of this video. He's just kind of inferring or kind of getting at that, yeah, I'm assuming what it is the normal fucking altered time for extra school, like Sunday school, that's replaced by some secular version, which is Gman for the rest of this video is in that position of the secularist teaching the kids fucking non-subjective morality or objective morality, or I don't remember what the fuck it's called, but it's the one basically where there's no morality, or actually subjective morality, because it is subjective from culture to culture, which is true, but the way he's presenting it is like an asshole. He's presenting it like all atheists would just be dicks about it. I mean, there are atheists now, which include me, and I've done this in another video, that have presented the idea of no objective morality and being subjective morality being, it's all relative to where you live. I presented that earlier without being a dick about it. I think Gman would be a horrible atheist replacing the alter school time thing, because he's just being a fuckwit about it. And there's a fly in my drink, great. But he's being a fuckwit about it, and I've shown in other videos, I don't think atheists, well, maybe some would, because, there are some fuckwit teachers in general, so I think that wouldn't be necessarily an atheist thing, and that'd be more of a person in the occupation being an asshat, i.e. G-Man's character in this case. Not necessarily G-Man. He can be mean, but he's normally a generally kind of nice guy. He tries to do things, so I think that he's exaggerating a bit with the character of just being an ass. And I don't think he means to have the character being an ass, but the character's being an ass, especially in this connotation. He's presenting the most grim paramount when it comes to death and relative morality. There's no I think that's what it is. I think objective morality is the one where it's this one whole thing. Of course, again, I don't believe that, and most atheists probably don't, that there's a universal right and wrong. I just don't fucking think there is. But according to G-Man, we'd all be asses about it. But again, I covered the other video I covered his other video in my other video. That was a weird grammatical thing. So I think the only other piece I don't think I've covered, and if I missed something, please tell me. I'm going to review this video, but I think I might have covered everything in the tangent I just performed unknowingly. I was going to dissect this bit by bit, but I think I just covered all of it by accident in a weird tangent. But the only other thing I noticed near the end of the video, I think it's the last slide or second to last slide, it gives us a date. It's a period piece of sorts. It's 2035. And I could also bring the case of that not being fucking possible, given how it's 2016 and how religiously tight the United States is, and I think it'd probably take a good century or two before that happened. See, the thing about this, and it being so fantastical, as if the other points haven't made it as such, G-Man doesn't seem to get cultural change and how fucking long it takes. To me, the cultural changes we have had, I mean, some of the, some of it still resonates today, too, but the cultural changes we had in the last century are pretty damn quick compared to other times in history. Of course, the stances back then still resonate today, like all the racism and hate and da-da-da-da, but all the stuff we had happen in the last century, all that changes from, it's kind of weird to think the century before and the century now are completely different, and that time of switch was not the 19th, but the 20th century, so it's just this big overlay time of all these changes in technology and culture and just social hierarchy, social status, social being. It's pretty funny in my opinion. And again, it doesn't happen quickly. It does seem quick, given how, I mean, that obviously wasn't quick. It took almost the entire fucking century for certain things to get done, like women's rights, you know, black rights, etc., etc. But that's pretty quick in compared to actual cultural and social change throughout history. It takes a long fucking time, and I just don't see something like this, unless they magically vanish, but it's very fucking vague, this intro. I guess he wanted to get quick to the acting. But I just don't see legitimately us going from 2016 now and how, as I said, religiously tight America is to 2035 and everything's just atheist bonanza. I just don't fucking see that happening. But of course, I think the implication here, at least my interpretation, because again, it's vague as hell, is that the Christians in 2035 just magically fucking vanished. And the atheists are in charge, and they're assholes about teaching the kids for some particular reason, some unexplained reason, but I still make the case that Gman's particular character is an asshole because there are atheist teachers and atheist educators who are relatively not dicks about things. I've seen the memes or the memes, or I call them memes, but everybody calls them memes because fuck me, that's right. What was I going to say? Oh yeah, I've seen all the stuff against Christopher Hitchens and Dawkins and all the educated, popular atheists, but they are fucking scientists. They're men of science. They know their shit. I've seen many I don't know, a lot of atheist figures are very educated people, and I just don't see the general consensus of... I mean, I think it'd probably be hell on toast. I don't think now that I think about it, I don't think the only concern, or the main concern, would be morality at that point, because I just thought about population change. If I don't think in 2035, as I kind of touched on earlier, from 2016 to 2035, there's going to be such a big change in religious to non-religious. Like, and what about who gets taken? Is it like everybody? Is it everybody from the on-the-fence people to the fucking die-hard evangelicals? Are they all taken, or who's taken? I mean, even if the on-the-fence people still say, that is a massive drop in population. Fucking, I think we'd be kind of fucked, because it depends on who's running what. Like, the nuclear power plants are objects within this world that require constant maintenance and highly educated professionals to monitor. If those people happen to be religious, I don't think morality is the biggest goddamn concern. I've always thought about that. Like, if the rapture shit happens, like, if the people who run these objects, who run these buildings that require constant maintenance, and if shit goes wrong, it could be the end of the fucking world. What if those people just gone? That's never taken into consideration. Those buildings fucking exist. There's many of them. What if those people just go? What if they are part of this Christian thing? I mean, I don't think the implication here, at least the first thing to jump to, is morality. Or maybe they all disappeared. Like, did they... I don't know. He didn't say when they disappeared, so I'm just assuming it's 2035. Maybe it's the Christians disappeared at some point, and it's 2035, and the atheists somehow have gotten things under control, so the Earth isn't going to fucking melt down due to lack of supervision of important buildings and what have you. Maybe that it's been okay. If you would expand on this narrative a bit, maybe it'd make more sense, but again, it just seemed like he wanted to get that shit out of the way and just jump to the putrid acting and weird fucking... But again, the strongest case against that whole thing that he immediately jumped to, without setting up the narrative, mind you, is the, again, putrid acting and shit we tore apart in the other video. But I don't think there's much else to say about the narrative other than it's garb, and I think we talked about a few things, plugged a few holes in it. If I missed anything, tell me below, or give me your analysis below. I might redo this video at some point, but I feel like I touched on everything. I had 1,000 things going through my brain hole, my brain cavity. But I feel like we did touch on everything to an extent. I don't know. I feel like it's too vague to an extent to analyze properly, because there are a lot of assumptions, a lot of what-ifs, and a lot of inferences. This is a very subjective piece, and again, it does... My main theory is he just wanted to get to the fuck atheists they would teach kids about immorality, and immorality is okay, and subjective morality is fucking fine, you can do whatever you want. He wanted to jump to that without setting up this universe, this cruelly cut universe. So there's a lot of questions, probably not going to be any answers, because I don't think he gives a fuck, and neither do most people.